Well, I tell you, folks, I love when I come in here and I see that go live button there. We got a good show for you. Always makes me happy to be here with you folks. It always makes me happy to be here with you folks. So we got a lot to talk about, a lot of really interesting things going on. So let's get to it. Fill your cups, fill your mugs, get you a fresh cup of Joe, tea, whatever your poison is. Grab a pen and paper for the round table at the end of the show, and let's do this. Good morning, folks. As always, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for all my YouTube viewers. Hit that thumbs up button so we can get the algorithm to do its job and bring as many people in here as possible. Folks need to hear this. They need to hear what's going on. We've got a central theme for the show, but we got a little one-off that's kind of not following the central theme for the show. So we're going to do it first and get it out of the way. It involves Judge Eileen Cannon. Boom. Judge Eileen Cannon. Jack Smith verbally punched her in the throat. Thank you for the support, Marsha. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you. Verbally punched her in the throat. She engaged in some real silliness. She ordered Jack Smith, the prosecutors, and the defense to put together jury instructions and submit those instructions to her. The problem is she based those instructions. She gave the outline for what she wanted the instructions to say, involving the Presidential Records Act. And the things that she had to say about it, every legal scholar in the country's head exploded because they were saying that is not what the Presidential Record Act says, and what she is saying is not a viable defense. So you are tainting the jury pool with misinformation that does not apply to this case. You cannot do that. And Jack Smith, I mean, literally just nailed her with his response. We actually have it in writing now. I'm going to read you just a little excerpt of it. One second, doggone it, I lost it. Anyways, basically, what it said, I was going to read it for you verbatim, but what it says is, the Presidential Records Act doesn't apply here. That is not what the Presidential Records Act says, what you told us. What you will do is you will issue a ruling on this motion now. You will not delay. You will issue your ruling now. We are entitled to, and it quotes precedents where they are entitled to this. He flat out says you cannot give, in the United States versus Wexler, for instance, you cannot give false instructions to a jury, misleading instructions to a jury that hinders a prosecutor's case. You cannot do it because the prosecutor has no recourse. At the end of the case, if the client is found not guilty, they cannot go back and retry this case. Therefore, it is settled law that you will respond to this, in which case, if you hold your current position, we will seek a writ of mandamus. Writ of mandamus is just legal jargon for do your damn job. We're going to go to an appeals court, and we're going to get the appeals court to order you to do your damn job. This, folks, y'all have all been wanting what gets her taken off the case. This is it. This is the fork in the road. Her instructions were so grievously bad. They were so a ploy to the defense that Trump is obviously going to offer up, which actually does not apply in this case. Peter Campbell, always here with the support, man. I appreciate you. What Peter Campbell says, what a shame. Federal judges with lifelong assignments not smarter than a law student. You know, exactly. She is getting very, very, very bad legal advice from the Federalist Society. She is. This was not only incorrect and wrong, it was tactically stupid, because this literally put her neck on the chopping block. Because as I'm saying, folks, this is it. You've wanted what gets her taken off the case. This is it. The language in Jack Smith's response is do or die. I will get a writ of mandamus. I will get the appeals court to step in, make you do your job if you do not correct these instructions here and now, which leaves her with two choices going forward. She can either stick to her guns and say, nope, this is how I see it, in which case she's dead wrong. There is no legal scholar in this country that is saying that she has a leg to stand on here. Jack Smith, in that case, goes to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and has her removed. John Edgar says, Cannon is a snake, must have cheated and done other things to get by in law school. She should have never been put in the position. This type of judgeship requires experience. It requires the ability to, you have to have had a bit engaged. She is just not qualified for her job. Here's the other thing. Here's the other avenue. Either she sticks to her guns. Thanks for the support, Katie. I appreciate you. I really do. She sticks to her guns, in which case the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals has no choice but to remove her. They don't. You can't give the jury instructions that aren't based in law. You just can't. Or she eats a giant turd burger, says, oh, I didn't know what the hell I was talking about, rescinds her order, gets humiliated, in which case Jack Smith still has the argument, if he chooses, to go to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals and argue, folks, this is an incredibly important case. It has everything to do with our national security. It has everything to do with a decision that has never been engaged in before by the judiciary. The people that are involved in this case should be scholarly people. She really has no good option in this case. Because even if she stays on the case now, everything that she does is suspect and up for review. She really got terrible advice from, she's being advised, the right wingers have always considered themselves to be nifty, spiffy lawyers, even though they lose most of the time. She is getting terrible legal advice. And this just really leaves her neck on the chopping block. And as I've said before, people are like, oh my God, she's going to ruin this. She's going to destroy this. She's going to get Trump up. No, she's not. No, she's not. No, she's not. This is like old Jake Paul stepping into the room with Mike Tyson. Stepping in the ring with Mike Tyson. That was just a mistake that's about to happen. Leanne says, I didn't get to read it. Leanne says, y'all rock. So appreciative, Mr. and Mrs. Texas Paul. I appreciate you. Thank you for the support. But yeah, I read that this morning. I was like, And I'm telling you, the decision, the way it's written, there is no deference, no anything. I mean, the language is just pow, pow. I mean, you are wrong. And if you insist on being wrong, we will get a writ of mandamus, period. And you cannot delay this, because if you delay this, this is why we will take this over your head to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals if you do not rule on this immediately. I mean, she has really boxed herself into a corner here, and I love it. I love it. Well, look, that was the one off that was kind of off a little bit. Hey, we got Nova Scotia in the house. Good to see. Good to see. Good to see. Trina Long is here. Our Nordic people have joined us. Thank you, Trina. I appreciate you. The theme of today's show is this. I've used this meme before, but there are several things that are going on that this applies to. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. That was Joseph Goebbels' modus operandi. Lie a lot, lie big, and accuse the other side of what you are guilty of. That is the Republican mode of operation. It is all they do. They have no policies. They have offered nothing. They push forward less than 30 bills this year. And in each of their states, all they do are, well, it's just garbage, shiny objects, just rile up their bigot base is all they do. Perfect example, the border. The border. You know, we had a crisis during COVID, and they had written a law. And in a law, sections of the law are called titles. They're called titles. And during COVID, Trump here engaged what was called Title 42. Now, Title 42 actually was created with good intentions. It was created with good intentions. All Title 42 is under border law is it suspends due process in an emergency, in a crisis. Trump was trying to engage in crazy, nonsensical stuff during his administration regarding immigration. That's what he was trying to do. That's what he was trying to do. So Trump engaged in Title 42 because it gives him the right to deport people with no due process, which sounds really freaking great to a bigot. I mean, why not, right? Due process, take it away from the brown people we don't like. And again, the law itself was not meant to be bigoted. It wasn't. It was written with good intent. But that law failed miserably. That happens sometimes. You've done it in your life. You've got plans. You got an idea. You think this is going to work. It doesn't work. It blows up in your face. You logically thought it was going to work, but it didn't. Title 42 caused a massive spike in illegal immigration because there were no teeth to it. It suspended all due process. People could just come across the border. If they got caught, they got taken back and could just come again. So the number of engagements, it flooded Customs and Border Patrol with tons of engagements. But after they removed, as you've seen from the headline there, after they removed Title 42, illegal immigration plummeted. It just plummeted. Well, the Republicans did this. It was Trump that put Title 42 in place. When Biden was elected, he said, okay, this ain't working. This is not working. We are getting flooded with immigration. We know by talking to these people why. We know it is because all they do is get a ride back to the border. They don't get held. When you get picked up for illegal immigration, you actually get held. They arrest you. None of that was happening. They were just giving them a ride back to the border. And they said, that's not working. We're being flooded with the same people that are just coming across. So let's get rid of it. When he tried to get rid of it, he got sued. Because the Republicans had already decided they were going to run on the border. And they know Title 42 was a gravy train for them. They saw what was happening. Greg Abbott, my governor, Greg Abbott, sued to keep Title 42 in place. Knowing it was causing a flood of illegal immigration. And as soon as the Biden administration went through all the machinations and were able to withdraw all the COVID edicts, the last thing they got to take away, because they were being sued by Republicans over and over again when they repealed Title 42, immigration went back down to normal standard, went back to what pre-COVID levels. But the Republicans were responsible for that spike in engagements down at the border. Trump did it. Trump engaged the law. Greg Abbott sued to keep it in place. So what do they do? Greg Abbott just takes all those numbers, most of which incurred, because remember, Joe Biden didn't come into office until January 2021. Title 42 went into place in March of 2020. So you had almost a full year under Title 42 with these massive numbers. They turned around and they tell the dummies, oh, look, 2020, that's when Biden was elected. Well, yeah, he didn't take office until 2021, you morons, but they don't tell them that. They tell, oh, that's all Biden. Look at that spike in numbers. Blame your enemy for that in which you are guilty. The Biden administration worked in good faith with the last one or two Republicans that are not out of their damn minds, and came up with an immigration law to deal with a lot of the everyday things. Because folks, there's work to be done at the border. Nobody's saying there isn't work to be done down at the border. There is. You've got these people coming across the border a lot of times because there are people here that want to hire them, that have jobs for them. So the Biden administration works in good faith with Republicans and comes up with a compromise bill that puts more judges in places, puts the infrastructure in place to make things work better. What do the Republicans do? Kill it and blame Democrats. Blame your enemy for that which you are responsible. That is the entire border situation in a nutshell. As Bornichin says, man, I love my people. As Bornichin says, love Title 42. They have lots of problems. You're in Norway, right? You're in Norway, right? If I remember correctly. They have lots of problems at the border, and they can smuggle in cheap labor to do jobs without a real gravy train for the rich. Yes, that is a big part of the problem. And one of the reasons Republicans don't want to fix this is if you have somebody that's here illegally, you can treat them shitty, and there are no repercussions for you because the laws are all set in your favor. That's it, folks. That's it in a nutshell. The border is all about accusing Democrats for that which Republicans did. The Republicans put Title 42 in place. When we saw Title 42 wasn't working, they sued us to keep it in place to create this crisis, because they knew even then, they were already talking then about the border. They knew that's what they were going to run on. Donald Trump was stupid enough to tell you the quiet part out loud. I told them to kill the border bill because politically it was good for the other side because they were actually doing something down at the border. And we can't have people thinking the Democrats are doing something down at the border. So, yeah, but you know what? The border is not the only way in which that meme holds true. It isn't. It is not the only way in which that meme holds true. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. What else do they do that with? Election fraud. Election fraud. We have case after case after case of election fraud. And it's always Republican. Alabama lawmaker, Republican. David Cole of Huntsville. Remember, we just won a special election there? David Cole of Huntsville, arrested for voter fraud. He voted in a district he didn't live in. Do you think he knew that he didn't live in that district when he voted there? And it's not just David Cole. We're going to run through a few of these. Georgia Republican official and outspoken election denier caught voting illegally 9 times. Now, do you think Brian Pritchard knew that he was not allowed to vote 9 times? I think he probably knew, don't you? Kim Taylor, Iowa woman, guilty of stuffing ballot box in husband's Congress nomination race. I'm pretty sure she knew that she wasn't allowed to put fake ballots that supported her husband in the ballot box. I am pretty sure that a judge's wife knew that was illegal. Don't you think that she probably knew that? I think she probably knew that when she did it. And then, of course, you've got down in Florida, you've seen them, the bigots on parade on their little golf carts down in the villages. Well, we've had the 4th or 5th or 6th resident of the villages who were screaming, the election was stolen. It was stolen. Yeah, he filled out his daddy was not fit to vote. He filled out his daddy's ballot and returned it. Got busted. I'm thinking he knew he wasn't entitled to fill out his daddy's ballot and return it. Don't you? I'm thinking he knew that. I think he really knew that. But you know, even with all of those, it's not really enough to tilt elections. When they do the investigations, they know. I mean, they know it's really not enough to tilt elections. They've done investigations. Remember Chris Kobach out of Kansas? That was his job. They paid that man 7 figures to go around the country and find voter fraud. And after months and months and months and months and months and months of travel, legal expenses that got paid, you know, his salary, nothing. Nothing. They found nothing. They just found nothing. Well, they don't look at themselves when they look. That's why, you know, they don't ever look at themselves. But again, accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty. They think we're cheating like crazy because they're cheating like crazy. And when they do find a case where something has happened, they go insane. Y'all have probably heard about Crystal Mason. Y'all have probably heard about Crystal Mason. She was the woman down here in Houston that got sentenced to 5 years. 5 years. She filled out a provisional ballot that was never counted. And she was sentenced to 5 years. And Crystal Mason didn't know that she wasn't allowed to vote because her case wasn't even through being adjudicated. She got busted for tax fraud. It was felony tax fraud. She was a tax preparer, and she was filling out returns for people that inflated the amount of money they would get back, which is a crime, and you should not do that. That is a bad thing. But no one in the state of Texas had told her that her voting rights had been suspended. So she went down and voted. She didn't vote 9 times. She didn't vote for somebody else. She just voted for herself because she thought she could vote. They sentenced her to 5 years. 5. Now you would think that, oh man, Tarrant County, they're tough on voter fraud, right? I mean, they are tough on voter fraud. Well, not so much. Not so much. I want you to meet Russ Casey. Russ Casey was a judge down in Tarrant County, and he wanted to continue being a judge. And to do that, you have to fill out, or actually have to collect signatures to get yourself on the ballot. He didn't feel like doing that, so he just made up a bunch of signatures. So yeah, Russ Casey, white Republican judge. This is Russ Casey. Convicted. What do you think he ended up with? Probation. He got probation. I want you to think about that. I want you to think about that. He ended up getting probation. I really want you to think about it. Crystal Mason, same county, same exact court system. Crystal Mason thought she could vote. She went down, filled out her own vote. Went to fill out her own vote. They told her, hey, you can't vote. You're not on the rolls. She said, no, I've been registered forever. They said, well, you have to fill out a provisional ballot. She's like, okay. She filled out a provisional ballot that did not ever get counted. She got busted when she went to cure her ballot because she's like, why doesn't my vote count? They're like, well, you've been convicted of a felony. You've lost your right to vote. She said, nobody told me that. Arrested her 5 years. 5 freaking years they sentenced her to. White judge who knows the law forges people's signatures. Forgery. Turns that in, gets busted. Probation. Same courthouse. What's the difference? What's the difference? Thank you, Kim, for having the bravery to just say it out loud. There it is, because she was black, full stop. Thank you, Kim. Absolutely. She was black, female, and Democrat. The trifecta. Rules for thee, not for me. Admiral Newton says Crystal was the wrong color and did not have important friends. 5 years, end of story. Exactly. Thankfully, an appeals court has overturned her verdict. She is now not guilty of that crime, although she has 6 figures in legal bills. America. Again, that's Republicans. Accuse your enemy of what you are guilty. Didn't stop there. Crystal Mason is not the only one. I mean, let's talk about let's talk about Ron DeSantis. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong picture of Ron DeSantis. Let's talk about the militant munchkin, Ron DeSantis. See, the state of Florida had a really bad habit of not telling people that were convicted of felonies that they couldn't vote. So they went back and, you got to prove, man, that this is really happening. You got to prove this is really happening. And they went back and arrested 20 people that were felons that were never told they couldn't vote. And they just voted. In each and every case, they just went and voted for themselves. They voted for they didn't vote for other people. They didn't commit fraud. They didn't fill out fake ballots. They just thought they had the right to vote. They went down and they voted, cast their single ballot in their district for who they wanted to be in office. And 20 of them were arrested, and those cases immediately fell apart because the state of Florida never told them that they'd lost their right to vote. Do you want to guess what color all of them were? That's what Republicans do. That's what Republicans do. That's why they really do think that in their heart of hearts, we're cheating. Because they're cheating. And when they wanted to go out and they wanted to find something to prove, to bring to the American people to say, look, see there, they couldn't even find it. They went out and found people that thought they could vote. They just voted in their own district. Christian Kickar said, Dr. Goebbels also said, if you have to tell a lie, then tell a big one. People will not think that you dare. Exactly. Lie, tell huge lies. Yeah, exactly, Rich. Voting while black, 5 years. What the fuck? And again, every one of these cases, they were not nefarious. They were not somebody trying to vote for somebody else. They're being dismissed left and right as they get adjudicated because the state of Florida did not tell these people they had lost their right to vote. Over and over and over, the same thing. But Republicans, hey man, let me just fill this out. What? The law says I have to get signatures. To hell with that. It's hot outside. Give me a phone book. We're going to just write. There you go. All right. Now I got all my signatures. Or they stuff their husband's ballot box. Linda Blanton says, I worked elections in Tarrant County and the GOP brought in people with dementia and they assisted them, but they really just voted twice. It is legal and sadly. It is, yeah. Yeah. Actually, that is technically against the law. The person would have to be, of course, adjudicated incompetent, but that is really all they're doing. They do that every election. That's why they think we're doing it. Strato Runner, I really appreciate the support. I really do. Man, $20 is a lot of money, and I really appreciate it. It allows me to do this full time. Thank you, sir. Thank you. But yeah, folks, it's everything. The border, voting, voter fraud. Listen to what she just told you. She's a poll worker watching people come in with dementia. And people are really just filling out their ballots is all they're doing. They're voting twice is all they're really doing. Or 3 times or 13 times or how many other people they volunteer to bring to the polls. And you want to know where the real voter fraud is happening? Let me tell you something. I live out in the sticks, brother. I live out in the sticks. I mean, it is all white, all white, all white. I have never waited to vote. Since I moved here, since we built this house on this property, and I have lived here and voted here, I have never once ever waited to vote. I walk in to a polling place, my local polling place, which is right down the road from me, in a church, and there are so many voting machines. I walk up, I hand my ID, they print out my ballot form. The time that is my total delay is scan the ballot or scan my ID because it's a real ID here in Texas. Scan my ID, hand me my ballot form. I walk to, and there's somebody waiting to show me how the machine works, man. Right there, waiting for me. There's no delay. I walk in, slide my ballot in, vote. It kicks it out, printed. I take it over to the other machine. I drop it in that machine where it counts it. Boom. Never wait. Never. But you go to a Democratic district. Thanks for the support, PCSSC. I really appreciate it. You go to Democratic districts that aren't Hillbillyville. I got 5 brand new voting machines where I vote. You go over there, they will have the oldest reprobate broke down machines and not nearly enough for the number of people they know are showing up. There will be lines down the frickin' block, and they do it on purpose in Democratic districts. They make us stand there forever to vote. That is your voter fraud, people. That is your voter fraud. But you go to a Republican district or Hillbillyville where I live, man, you're right through. You are right through. That's your voter fraud. And they accuse us of fraud. Accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty. And I'll give you another example. Not voting. Let's just talk about support. And this is leading to the big story of the day. Let's just talk about support. This guy, George Soros. How many times have you heard the name George Soros? How many? I mean, it's all the time. It's all they say. Oh, everything's that billionaire George Soros is buying elections. He's buying elections. George Soros gives equally to both sides when he funds candidates. He is not a left-leaning supporter. The only time that George Soros actually does support the left is he funds voter institutions. He supports democracy because he's seen what's happened before. Have you ever been indoctrinated into a synagogue or heard about, some Jewish law or action that, they really want to get done and then find out that, oh, well, that's just George Soros. No, George Soros is Jewish, by the way. Have you ever been in, have you ever seen the big Jewish agenda come out of George Soros? Anybody ever pointed to you anywhere that man has tried to force his religion on you in any way? Never. The dude funds democracy. That's what he does. But of course, that's what you hear. That's what you hear over and over and over again from Republicans. George Soros, George Soros, George Soros, George Soros. Why? Why? Well, we've talked about it before. Here's old Tim Dunn. Tim Dunn is a cancer here in the state of Texas. Fancies himself a preacher. And he funds Republicans like you would not believe. Him and these guys right here. Tim Dunn and these guys right here, the Wilkes brothers, are just a freaking cancer on our political landscape. Here's the Wilkes brothers, Dan and Ferris Wilkes. These two started out a long time ago being poor bricklayers. People that grew up with them will tell you they were borrowing money all the time, man. They were broke all the damn time. Then fracking came around and they got into fracking. And they were overnight billionaires. But you know, Ferris Wilkes here fancies himself a preacher just like Tim Dunn does. And they try to shove their Bible up your ass all the time. All the damn time. You know, all this the school vouchers things about putting pastors in our schools and all that other crap. They fund all of it. They fund all those political. They rain money on the Republican Party all the time. And their issues are a problem. Their issues are forcing their Bible, their beliefs on you and destroying our schools because it's just math, folks. You pass vouchers, your schools go broke. Because all of, you know, that upper crust, that 10% that can afford it, will take that voucher and it's just a tax credit for them. They're already going to pay to send their kids to private school, but now they're going to get a tax credit taken out of your public school funding. Trailer folks, poor folks, folks that live out here in Hillbillyville, my neighbors, you think they can afford to send their kids to private school? If they could, they would. There's no damn tax credit that's going to help them. I grew up in South Texas. A lot of folks go to Catholic school. They do. The Catholic Church, God bless them, are one of the few people that actually provide education services that are not really super, super expensive. They ain't cheap. Don't get me wrong. None of them are cheap, but they tend to be better than most. They do. But school vouchers will bankrupt your schools. They will. And of course, we got old Timothy Mellon. Timothy Mellon, you know, I was telling you, this whole border wall thing, it was collapsing. Nobody was funding that. Remember, we're going to get Mexico to pay for it. And then Mexico didn't want to pay for it. Nobody, it was stupid, idiotic. So they said, we'll fund it ourselves. Well, right-wingers are long on talk about wanting their wall, but they were short on money. Individuals, they didn't show up for that. No, old Timothy Mellon. At one point, when they first started funding this, no kidding, 9 out of $10 that went to fund this stupid jackass wall down here came from Timothy Mellon. I appreciate the support. I really do. And Kavanaugh, thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate it. Timothy Mellon is raining money on Republicans. Again, accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty. That's what they do. That's what they do. Then we got a little bit of news that just really weird. Nobody would loan Donald Trump money. Asborn Newton, just ban for profit schools, then rich people need to send their kids to public schools. It does magic to the quality of education. Look to Finland, they did that, and that was the best education. Yeah, amen, brother. Amen. I am with you on that. There are a lot of great examples out there we could be following. There really are. And I appreciate you. That's why I love my Canadian audience. We have Australians here. We have people from all over the United States. We have people here from Mexico. We have people here from France. We have people here. We have one viewer from Italy. I know because I got an email that they were very upset that I did not point out that Italians also suffered a lot of bigotry when they came here. And I am here to acknowledge the Italian people also suffered bigotry when they moved here. That's why you ended up with little Italies and stuff, these neighborhoods where they stuck together and helped each other. But yeah, having an audience like that lets us talk about things that are really happening all over the world. Get real input. But yeah, remember when Trump said he was going to go away when he lost? And then he didn't. And nobody could figure out why, because he was just broke. He was just broke. I mean, his properties were losing money left and right. Put a pin in that. Well, Trump can't pay his bond. These cases are grinding forward, not as fast as we would like, but they're grinding forward. And Trump loses in New York, and he cannot pay his bond for his appeal. Nobody will loan him money. Trump came out and said, nobody will loan me money. Mike Bundy says the problem isn't that the for-profit schools, it's the tax-exempt ones. Yeah, that too. Well, Trump can't pay his bond. They even reduced it to $175 million. It still was looking like he couldn't pay it. Then all of a sudden, he could. Let me introduce you to Don Hankey. Don Hankey's real proud of the fact that he just put up $175 million of his money to pay Donald Trump's bond. Another 80-year-old white billionaire blighting our country. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. Another 80-year-old white billionaire blighting our country. See, Don Hankey here, he specializes in bad credit loans. That's what one of his major companies does. That's how he made a lot of his longest green came from loaning people with terrible credit scores, high interest loans. Which in a way kind of makes sense that he paired up with Trump. But he was really proud of it. He said in the article when they said, "Hey, who the hell are you and why are you floating this loan?" He said, "Well, it's just a good business decision. I don't really know Donald Trump. Never spoken to him. So it's not political. It's just business. It's just a good business decision. It's just business." Linda Orr, thank you for the support. There's a problem with that. That just really doesn't fly. See, he's a longtime donor, mega donor to Donald Trump. Do you believe for 1 second, thank you, Linda Orr, I really appreciate you. Do you think for 1 second that Donald Trump has a billionaire mega donor pumping money into his campaign and he does not get in contact, doesn't smooch that ass? Really? You believe that? Yeah, I don't believe that. When Hankey says, "I never knew the guy," we've never had a phone conversation. Well, yeah, what did he take you into the Mar-a-Lago bathroom and smooch you right on the booty? Did he pucker for your starfish? I mean, what's the relationship there, man? Because he's pretending there isn't one. And remember when I told you he put a pin on Donald Trump was broke and hemorrhaging money when he came out of the White House? Well, he suddenly got a cash infusion. And somebody refinanced Trump Tower, which he was on the verge of losing. And they refinanced Doral. Y'all remember Doral? Doral is a huge money loser. See, Doral has a big problem. Donald Trump is such a moron. He did such a terrible job when he bought the place back in 2012. Doral can't make a profit. Doral is affectionately known as the Blue Monster in golfing circles, which is not a term of endearment. I say affectionately known as, but it's not a term of endearment. It is not. They call it the Blue Monster because it is full of water hazards and it is super windy at Doral all the time. Brian Peach, I appreciate you, man. Is that pitch or is it French like pichet or? You have to let me know. I appreciate the support, my friend. Susan Jorgensen, hey, more Krona coming in. There you go. There. That is my Northern European audience right there. Tell me, are you in Denmark proper or where you at? Let me know. I love my Danish people. I do. You folks are really, y'all chime in and let people know. You do. This is how we do it where we're at, and I love it. But yeah, so you've got Trump with Doral that's just hemorrhaging money. He did such a lousy deal when he bought it. He charges twice what other resorts charge. And it's not as nice. There are nicer places to golf in that area. Appreciate the support, Ms. Pierce. Pounds. Hey, UK in the house. What? All right. You see that, folks? That was 5 pounds. That was UK, baby. So yeah, Doral's hemorrhaging money. The reviews of it all say the same thing. Well, look, it's a nice place. Don't get me wrong. It's a nice place, but there are nicer that cost half as much. Golf there. So somebody refinance that nightmare. Mary Swanson says, would Denmark take us? Everybody's looking for an exit plan if Trump gets reelected. It was these guys, Accuse Bank. When nobody else would touch these deals because they were horrible money-losing deals. Accuse Bank here. They refinanced it back in 2022. And they're kind of murky about who they are. You remember, we found out Deutsche Bank, all of those loans were underwritten and offset by the Russians. Here comes Accuse buying those mortgages from Deutsche Bank. Who the hell are they? Well, their largest individual shareholder is a guy that claims he never had a phone call with Donald Trump ever in his life. Another 80-year-old white billionaire by the name of Don Hankey that just floated Trump's bond. He is the largest individual shareholder in Accuse Bank. Weird, huh? Just weird. Why would a guy why would he get involved with those deals in the first place? Why refinance Trump Tower? Why refinance Doral? Then turn around and loan Trump money and brag about the fact that Trump didn't have to put anything. He's able to keep his collateral. It literally said this. Trump, yeah, it's a great thing. Trump is able to keep earning interest on his collateral because he's got possession of it, not us. Put a pin in that. Y'all remember Trump Media? Yeah, Digital World Acquisition Corp. People, again, we don't know where the money came from, engaged in a stock swap and ended up merging with Donald Trump Media, and it has lost 20% of its value in the first 5 days. Well, Donald Trump's media wasn't just his. There were two founders, Andy Litinsky and Wes Moss founded Truth Social with Donald Trump. These guys. When nobody else would do business with Donald frickin' Trump, they founded Truth Social with him. What are they getting rewarded with for their efforts? Donald Trump is suing them to have their stock voided. Yeah, you heard that right. Donald Trump is suing them to have their stock voided. When real money hit the table, Jessica McKenzie says, "Good morning, Texas Paul. The Kennedy family endorsed President Biden. How does that help?" We'll get to that in just a second, Jessica. I will come back to that. I want to finish talking about Andy Litinsky and Wes Moss because I am really having some schadenfreude over this. Two people dumb enough to get in bed with Donald Trump after years and years. His partners have always come back and said, he screwed me. He screwed me. He screwed me. Well, Trump sues Andy Litinsky and Wes Moss to try to have their stock voided. He says they're just stupid business people and they don't deserve their stock, even though they founded the company with me. And there's nothing in the world that says they don't deserve it. I'm just thinking about these two morons getting into bed with Donald Trump, and this is how I feel about it. And for Don Hankey, my message is really simple. If it hadn't been for you and your cash infusions, Donald Trump would be gone. He would have been into bankruptcy. He would be gone. You floated him. You floated him. You refinanced his mortgages. Michael McAndrews, wow. Thank you, my friend. USA in the house. Thank you, my friend. That's a lot of cash, man. I really appreciate that. I'm very humbled by that. Thank you. That is the largest single donation I've ever received. Thank you. I appreciate you, Mike. Yeah, George Soros doesn't really pay me. I wish he would. But yeah, for Don Hankey, you see how he treats his business partners. And you are going to deserve what happens to you. His businesses have been failing forever. They always end up in bankruptcy. And all you did was slow the inevitable. That's it. You have just slowed the inevitable. And when you take a bath, I'm going to make a point of doing a show on you getting bent over and raped by Donald Trump, because that is exactly what is going to happen to you financially. But the Republicans will tell you tomorrow, George Soros, George Soros, George Soros. Why? Because they have one thing and one thing only. It is the only thing they know how to do. It is the only thing they know how to do. Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. And I promise you that's the last time you'll see that meme. It's all they have. And I, for one, am really sick of these old, sorry billionaires. So I'm going to make a pitch to you. We used to have a 90% tax bracket. in this country. We did. When it was implemented, there was one man in this country that it applied to. Because, the Republicans tell you these things, 90% tax bracket, 70% tax bracket. They'll go to some guy, working construction and tell them they want to put you in a 90% tax bracket. No, we don't. Never have. It's never happened. It never will happen. Asborn Newsom, I love you people, man. You know exactly where I was going with this. When the 90% tax bracket was implemented, it applied to one man, and it was a very small amount of his income that crossed that 90% threshold, and it was John D. Rockefeller. Literally a one-man tax bracket. There was a reason for it. There was a reason for it. Teddy Roosevelt, he was Republican, folks. He would be a Democrat today, but he was a Republican then. The party's inverted. In the 60s, the party's inverted. They saw what these robber barons were capable of. They saw what unlimited wealth will do. We are seeing it today. Ronald Reagan stripped those tax brackets away. You hit the 35% tax bracket, Monica, but that's not all of your income that falls into it. That's how tax brackets work. It's only a certain amount of your income falls into that 35%. Same thing with those 70 and 90% tax brackets. They would not apply to you. It would be only the ultra wealthy that would qualify for these massive high tax brackets, and there was a reason for them. You give men like this unlimited money, and it will destroy your country. There really is such a thing as all you need. And beyond that, you're just getting in trouble. That was the reason for those tax brackets, folks. It was to prevent the Tim Dunns, to prevent the Ferris and Dan Wilkes. It was to prevent the Timothy Mellons, and it was to prevent the Dan Hankeys of the world from pissing on our country constantly. Because what they do is they take their money and they lay AstroTurf with it. They let this radical ass, bigoted, hateful section of our country believe that they are something they are not. They let them believe that they are powerful, that they are large, that they are a massive group. They literally pay for trolls online to create fake accounts just so those people feel like there's more of them. So they won't feel like losers. Because it wasn't rigged. You're just a loser. And then they're shocked. But we had boat parades. We had boat parades, damn it. How could we lose? I didn't see no Democrats having boat parades. How many Democrats you seen with Biden flags on their pickup trucks? We outnumber them, people. No, we're just normal. Oh, Mr. Newton back again. When you can afford your own spaceship toy, it's time for you to pay upper income of 90%. Exactly. Thank you, Peter Campbell says, take a moment to share and like. We're not quite done yet, folks. We got a little bit left to cover. One of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit was exactly what he was talking about. Let me pull Tesla's stock up today. Tesla had some very, very bad news. Turns out being a jackass really doesn't help sell cars. And they've had a very, very, very bad week, folks. Thank you, Sharon. I really appreciate you. I will keep yelling. Thank you for the support. That is a huge donation, and I'm very grateful. Tesla stock has been tanking. In the last 5 days, it's down 8%. And it's tanking because their sales reports came back. And in a time when the rest of the country is thriving and growing, Tesla has lost 10% of its sales. 8.6 or 8.9%. I don't remember the exact number, but it's about 10% of their sales. Everyone else, now hear me, everyone else's sales are growing. Tesla's is shrinking. So not only is it that they lost almost 10% of their sales, it's they didn't grow. And they didn't grow because it's another billionaire asshole everybody's tired of. And he's tired of us too. I put out a thing on social media. I really get the feeling Elon Musk is bored with Tesla. Nobody loves him anymore. Everybody's making electric cars now. You know, back in the day, Elon Musk used to be the guy, he was the only guy that would really do it. You know, we kept saying, we want electric cars. We don't want to be tied to oil. We don't want the politics that being tied to oil brings. We don't want to keep poisoning our environment. Let's move away from gasoline vehicles to as many electric vehicles as we can, and we will build the infrastructure to do it clean over time. But we've got to go that direction. GM said, no, you're stupid. Honda, Toyota, Ford, Mercedes, Volvo, everybody, no, you're stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. We said, yes, we do. And that's what we want. And Elon Musk said, you know, there's this company, this little startup, I'll buy into it and I'll sell you cars. And he bought into Tesla. Yeah, Tesla was founded by two other guys, by the way. It was not his baby. And he said, I'll sell you electric cars. And we were like, great, our hero. You did it, man. Thank you. You gave us what we wanted. About a decade later, Elon Musk is a right-wing jackhole who likes to talk to people like libs of TikTok and cat turd. And he likes to take a giant dump on us liberals who are the ones that bought his frickin' cars. So now people don't want to buy his cars anymore. Volkswagen, Honda. You know, you got Rivian if you want one of the original electrical startups. They've got all kinds of options. The Chinese have gone heavy into electric. Lucky Star says Elon Musk should know racism, misogyny, and being a major jackass doesn't sell. Just ask Donald Trump. They don't get it. And that's the point. That's where I was going with this, folks. Thank you for saying that. That was the last. You're always ahead of me. You're so freaking smart. You're always ahead of me. That's where I'm going with this. We are plagued with these billionaire jackasses that don't just shut the hell up and give us what we want, because the world isn't about you. You handful of people. You think you're it. You think you're the reason for being. You know, Larry Ellison over at Oracle is as arrogant as they come. He bought his own Hawaiian island. Just as arrogant as they come because he thinks he was important. No, we just wanted PCs, man, that could communicate. And you happened to write a program, and if you hadn't written it, somebody else would. And the way our laws are set up, it meant that you were an overnight billionaire. You're not freaking special. The 300 and almost 50 million people in this country that get up every day, they go to work, they are the ones that make everything happen. This country rises and sets on the backs of its people. You know, I don't mean to go all Che Guevara, Guevara on you, but damn it, that's the truth. This handful of billionaires are freaking nothing. We are the people that do it. You folks that get up every damn day and you make things happen. I don't even care if you're retired. You're still making it happen because you get up every day. You take care of your, that's the biggest thing about people that run for office that just drives me up the wall. I hate people that sell religion because you don't have to make anything or do anything. You're just selling a concept. And I hate people that run for office that pretend they're doing something. The American people, not just the global population, in every one of our countries that are represented here by our audience, you all get up and you all make it happen. Our society runs because of you. And these bastards want to take their Bibles and shove them up your ass because they think they know better. Elon Musk wasn't smart enough just to shut his damn mouth. I don't give a damn that he's some South African jackhole with weird freaking friggadicky ideas. Shut up and make cars. Because that's what we asked you to do. Period. And you couldn't do that. Tim Dunn, sit the fuck down. I am happy that you love your church. I am happy that you preach at your church. I'm happy that it brings you joy. Stay the hell out of my life. We need a robust public school system that functions. Not you and your little Bible fucking it up for us. Well, there goes my ad revenue. Sorry, I lost my temper, folks. I apologize. But anyways, that's what I wanted to share with you today. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I have one more thing that I want to share with you. Always a warning with this particular jackass, because this guy talks to your children. I've shown you stuff that he said over and over and over and over again. This is Charlie Kirk with Turning Point USA. Turning Point USA targets your children. That's what they do. This is what old Charlie had to say day before yesterday.
Basically told a great generation of young women, don't get married, don't have kids, go get a corporate job. And it's created mass political hysteria. And then in their early 30s, they get really upset because they say, the boys don't want to date me anymore because they're not at their prime. And people get mad when I say that. Well, it's just true. If you're in your early 30s, I'm sorry. It's like you're not as attractive in the dating pool as you were in the early 20s. But again, you have your corporate job and cats. So I thought, we've basically told a great generation of young women.
They are telling your children that they need to stay home and make babies. They're telling your women, your daughters that go to school, that go to colleges. Thanks, Peter Campbell. Thanks for he says, thanks for the passion. You tell it like it is. Love the channel and the family. Thank you. I appreciate you, man. I really do. I mean what I say. This jackass is telling your daughters, they're in just about every college campus in the country. They're in tons of high schools. These people are in high schools. You get these right-wing jackasses, again, accuse your enemy of that which you are guilty, accuse us of indoctrination. Then these jackass principals and school administrators bring in Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA to indoctrinate your children and tell them the problem with society is that them damn women went and got jobs. Thanks, Jerry Anderson. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. $50 is a lot of money, man. Thank you very much. You damn women went out and got jobs, became independent. What the hell, man? Need to stay home, do what your husband says, because he reads the Bible, and you need to make them babies and teach them babies to be Republicans. That's what you need to do. And he's talking to your kids. I'm not kidding. He's talking to your kids. Every damn day, Turning Point USA is passing this shit out to your kids on colleges, campuses, and in our high schools. I cannot warn you enough what these Republicans are. You remember World War II, the Hitler Youth, the HJ? Yeah. They didn't get screwed up on accident. They had people talking to them at their schools. Talk to your kids, please. Talk to your grandkids, please. Ask them if they know who Turning Point USA is. That's a big freaking red flag right there. If they know who Turning Point USA is, they've been in touch with these people. These people have talked to them. Stop it. Thank you, Judy Howe. Judy Howe says, I like Feisty Paul today. He's honest and real. I always tell it like I feel. Asborn Nugent, preachers say we don't need a library or a school. We got this here Bible I quote from, and you will believe whatever I say because you will never read the silly thing. Now give me money and cannon fodder for my wars. Hey, I couldn't have put it any better myself, man. I could not have put it myself. I just thank you for being here, folks. Thank you for listening. And please, now do your part. Get this message out, please. Please share it. I'm going to be self-serving here for a second. Please share this message. The message is the important part. It really is the important part. Get it out. And you can do that really simple. You don't even have to hit the share button down below, although I wish you would. You do not have to hit the share button down below and do anything to put it in your social media. None of that. If you hit the thumbs up button and you hit the subscribe button, the algorithm will do it for you. But please, yes, share this far and wide so we can get the damn message out. And please, I'm going to make a suggestion to you. I know notifications are a pain in the ass. That's why you never heard me mention that before. You never heard me tell you, go hit the notifications button. There may be a special live coming up over the next few days. A very special live coming up over the next few days. And I don't have it scheduled, and I have no way to really foresee when it would come exactly. So hit the notifications button so that you can get notified when it comes. All right. That puts us in touch that way. But yeah, that's what I have for you today, folks. That was the show I have for you today. I hope it's been valuable to you, and I hope you've enjoyed it. I am more than happy. It's 11:20-ish. We can take a few minutes to have a roundtable if you'd like, or if you just want to enjoy your day. It is hump day. We have made it halfway through the week, folks. Can you believe it? We've made it halfway through another week. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. I promise you. All right. Let's run through and see if we can come up with some good ones. Peyton never said I'll get to keep that one up. Keep that one up, please. Peyton never says, once I thought I would want to move to Texas. Texas Paul is the only true Texan who would, can you put that comment back up? That was a good one. Who could really convince the liberals to move to Texas. There are actually a lot of us liberals here already. There really are a lot of liberals here already. It's just, we're not the loud ones, man. We're not the billionaire funded loudmouths. So you just don't notice us. I'm telling you, I had the weirdest thing happen to me the other day. The weirdest damn thing. It was the most awkward, uncomfortable thing I've ever had happen in my life. If you see me and recognize me, don't do this. Walk up and say, hey, man. Hey, and I'll tell you, hey, how you doing? Good to meet you. This, that, and the other. Don't walk up and take my picture and walk off. That was crazy. I have never in my life had something like that happen before. It happened to me the other day, and we were standing in the grocery store. I'm sitting there perusing the news, and I see this guy walking up the aisle, and boom, dead eye. I'm looking at you. And I know, so he got my attention, and I keep, flipping through and checking, and he's walking up, fumbling with his phone, and he gets to within 5 feet of me, looks at me, holds the phone up, shoots a picture, and then turns around and walks off. Michelle Talent says, is Cannon sabotaging herself on purpose? No, she's not sabotaging herself on purpose. She has advisors telling her how she doesn't realize that these people advising her don't give a damn whether she lives or dies, much less about her career. And she thinks that they're on her side. So she thinks she's the hero. She thinks she's helping Trump out. She really believes this stuff. I can see this happening. They had a conversation. They said, well, the Presidential Records Act really does cover this and this, that, and the other. And she's like, oh, okay. With no clue that these people really don't give a damn what happens to her or her career. So no, I don't think it's intentional. I just think she's naive and inexperienced and maybe a little bit dumb. Sandy W says, Mr. Texas Paul, can you ask if he thinks 45 wants to go to jail because of the contempt, for example, so he can really cash in grifting? No, Donald Trump does not want to go to jail. No. Donald Trump thinks that he can get away with anything because for most of his life he has. But he does not want to go to jail. He can portray himself as the victim. He does that every day without going to jail. Who do we have to unseat Abbott next election? It is so far off. 2006 is his reelection. We won't see anything about him for a while. I missed another good one. Damn it, that was a good one. Oh yeah, about DeJoy. Why is DeJoy still postmaster? And let me answer that as, hold on, I'll come to keep him up until I can get to him. Just because I'm running off my mouth doesn't mean I don't want to get to him. Please, pretty please. Why is DeJoy still the postmaster? I have no freaking clue. That is my honest answer. That makes no damn sense to me. I am one of those people that believes that we should clean house in the Department of Justice, to the post office, to everywhere. Republicans are unethical and sorry ass individuals, and I have no clue why that man still has a job. Michael Anthony, it's because Democrats are really bad at knife fighting, to be honest with you. We're just not brutal. We're not brutal people. We're not. I didn't get to read that. Can you read that one for me? I didn't get to read that one. Can you put it back up? Okay. Well, we'll see if we can find something else. I'm sorry, I didn't get to. Michael Antonsu? Forgive me. Antonsu? Need to vote Ted Cruz out of the Senate. Yes, Allred is a great candidate. He is both physically appealing. He has got a great disarming smile that lights up a room. He is just very well spoken, very intelligent, good resume, solidly supported financially. If anybody's got a shot at knocking Ted Cruz out of the Senate, it's Colin Allred. And I mean, we've got a good shot this time. We really do. We have a really good shot this time. Thank you for bringing that back up, by the way. Thank you. I know I run my mouth a lot sometimes off subject, and just keep him up. I'll get to him. Good question, by the way. Thank you. Glad to know it. I'm glad to know it. Anton, so I hate when I mispronounce people's names. Correct me in the comments if I do. I'll try to catch it. Yeah. But yeah, Allred's going to be a strong candidate. He is going to be a strong candidate. We actually had two very strong candidates this year, and Allred won out. Lynn Middleton says Biden can't fire DeJoy because there's a special process, or we would have done it. It's more complicated than just firing him, unfortunately. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But my point is, when do Republicans ever play fair? I don't buy into that when they go low, we go high. No, I believe in jumping in that ditch, grabbing FactBat, and going to work. I would rather DeJoy sue us, the taxpayer, and be out of the job. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I would rather him sue us, play dirty, fire the bastard, even if it's unethical, and have him out of the damn job and have him sue us than I would have him stay in the damn job. But that's me. I'm just that kind of a fighter. And Far says, thank you for all you do. I really appreciate you guys, man. There have been some huge donations today. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you. Thank you for all the support. You make me able to do this full time. DKH, I would really love to hear that story. You know where to find my email. It's on my website, www.realtexaspaul.com. My email's there. I'd love to hear that story. All right. We are running short on time, but there have been some great questions, man. I love doing these roundtables with you. I love doing these. You people know your shit. Since I've already lost my ad revenue for the day, might as well, right? Yeah. Magua Chrome. You know, it was actually a dyed-in-the-wool capitalist that actually posed this question to me when we were talking about taxes. I'm telling you, I would not trade worldly old me with the bad knees and the arthritis in the hands for young me for anything, because I was a young man, and when I was a young man, I fell for all that nonsensical tax talk, and this gentleman sat me down and explained to me the tax system. Oh yeah, the Kennedy family endorsement. I have not forgotten you. I did forget. I'm sorry. I'll tell the truth. I forgot. Thank you for reminding me. I'm very grateful. Let's go straight to that. That's a big effing deal, man. You got RFK, who's just gotten. And what did I tell you when Frank Lance was on the case? All of a sudden, RFK is all over the news. Did you notice that? All day yesterday was all RFK. I was laughing so damn hard. I'm like, there's old Frank going to work, man. He was in the news everywhere. But yeah, God bless the Kennedy clan, because every time he even tries to get some footing, they punch him in the eye and say, we don't support him. We support Joe Biden. He is not us. He does not represent the Kennedy name. I love it, man. I freaking love it. I do. Linda Thalman says, you're the best live on Midas Chess Network because it's really live, and you reply to all the donations. Have excellent mod and always teach and don't preach. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. I really do. And I love working with Midas Touch. And I have to apologize. I've been really focusing on this show and not content for them as much. But I really do love those guys. They are great guys. Let me tell you, those Ben, Brett, Jordy, they're really great guys. I mean, personally, they're great guys. They mean what they say. They give a shit. They're really good guys, and I need to be doing more content for them. I really do. John Sprinkles says, how do I join the YouTube chat? I listen every day. If you are on a PC, or I don't even know if I don't know. I don't follow the phones very much, but if you're watching this live on YouTube, the chat should be on the right side of your screen. You should already be part of it. I'm not exactly, if somebody could answer his question, that would be great, because that was technically beyond me. I don't know how he's not part of the chat. He was in YouTube. Jay, we show why you Texas Paul FactBat, please. I don't exactly know what you mean, but I appreciate you. I do. If you throw another comment, not another donation, just throw another comment up. We'll see. Verify. Linda Orr says RFK is a danger. He's splitting the vote is a danger. Actually, he's not really. At this point, and kudos, I would like to say that it's just, our brain, the fact that we know. No, it's actually a lot of really good work by a lot of really good Democratic operatives. He is actually taking more votes from Trump than he is taking from Joe Biden. Now, I very much worry about, since Frank Luntz came on board, that changing. But Dragon's Aura says, I'm on YouTube free. Everybody's on YouTube free here. You notice there are no colored, there's no members here. It's all free. Everybody's here free. So if anybody knows how to help them out, I'd be grateful. Old Silver, Texas Paul has always interacted with the chat. That is so appreciated. Guys, this is what we're here for. This is why I do it. To get the message out, talk to you folks, learn from you folks, try to, folks, I ain't gonna lie. I'm a political insider. I am. I know, I hear things. People that are way smarter than me tell me things, and I want to communicate those things to you. Let's all stay in the loop so we can all stay fighting. That's what I do it for. I pull up the chat from the bottom, Danny Puckett says. Well, folks, we're past the 11:30 mark, and I wanted to cut it off there. If the videos get too long, it's difficult to get people to watch them. And like I said, the important part is getting the message out. It has been wonderful spending the day with you. I have so enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. I hope you've enjoyed the show, and enjoy some Texas cities at night.